Hello and welcome to episode 30 of my Endwalker playthrough. We are still in Elpis, and we have with us Hythlodaeus, Emet-Selch, and Hermes, who is going to become Van Daniel. Oh yes, and Meteon, who is just the cutest. Composure regained, Hermes is ready to return to his duties. If everyone is ready, there are a few creations I need to check on. First, we shall return to the spot where we found our wayward ambystoma. Have care when you step outside the hub, for there may be more unruly creatures about. And that's around the back of the building, isn't it? It's gotta be. Either around the back of the building or on the top of the building. Since we have a decent way to run, we'll just check this first. Oh, there it is. It is kind of around the back. It is around the back and down. Right. I will see you over where we found our wayward fishy friend. We are here. All vim and vigour now. When we were discussing his nomination, he was melancholy incarnate. Ah, yes. I have no Ianthus petroluthus. One of the newest species of ever-popular butterfly. You're still bothered. You're still bothered about your robe? Don't be. These few specimens we repurpose won't be missed. So beautiful, Petaludus. I hope they make it into the world. This here is a new species of Petaludus. We recently set loose. It has been doing very well, managing to maintain a stable existence thus far. If it can see its observation period to its end, or to the end, without issue, we shall release it unto the world. Tell me, do you know the difference between living beings and arcane entities? It is the presence of a soul, yet the soul isn't something you can choose to have at will. No, it manifests only in those beings whose forms adhere to the laws of creation, that can endure on their own. Beings that do not fulfill this requirement, such as those spontaneously born of magic or natural phenomenon, do not have souls. No matter how much it might resemble flora or fauna, if it lacks a soul, then it is considered an arcane entity. So you see, it is not for mankind to decide what is living. That domain lies beyond our manipulation, and it is hubris to assume otherwise. But come, let us head to the nearby beacon. We received a report that arcane entities have gathered there. Music's so chill. I see a fate. I'm not going to go to it. Interesting. You're interesting too. Tell me, how do you find the, how did you find the ambystoma? A fascinating creation, much like yourself, little one. Renowned as Hermes is for his flying life forms, it is a rare privilege to be able to see one of his works in progress. We're meant to be observing Hermes, but instead we've stuck with Meteon. Well, I suppose she herself serves as proof of his prowess as a researcher and creator both. Ah, yes. Lightning FOMU. FOMU? Yeah, Foma, or Foma, just as the report said. Although we call this structure a beacon due to its form, it is in fact a magical device. By manipulating the balance of elements, it keeps the island airborne, or the isle airborne, and maintains the climate thereupon. In the course of its operations, it often sees a internal shift towards a given element. Right now, that element is lightning, which draws the Fomon here to replenish their ether. It appears that Metron is busy. Would you care to assist me in her stead and feed the Fomon? By using this lightning converger, you can harness the ambient lightning and focus it into a ball. A veritable feast for our dazzling friends. Go on, give it a try. Oh, ground target mode. Perfectly done, Nathan. Look. See how they gather to feed? How they express themselves through their actions despite their lack of words. Speech is not the sole defining characteristic of thinking, feeling creatures, nor is silence an indication that they do not possess these qualities. To be a soulless arcane entity, such as the Fomon, or an ephemeral life form, such as the Petrodolus, we seek to perpetuate their existence, to survive. We're fairly sure she has a soul. A good question. I can answer it from a theoretical standpoint, but it is ultimately falls to the Bureau of the Architect to pass judgment. Those with exceptional vision, such as oh, good lord! I said it literally. What is it? 8 minutes ago. It's not. There's no high in it. Heliodas. That's close. It's wrong though. Hythlodaeus. There we go. Maybe ascertain her true nature. But to me, it doesn't matter. She is herself, and that's all I need to know. Oh, you finished already? I'm sorry. I was in the way. Do not worry, my dear. They've missed nothing of note, and we still have plenty of work for them to observe. Next, we'll head east to the Morning Dew. I need to speak to some observers there. That's in the direction of the next Aether Current. I think there's an Aetherite over there as well. It might be one of the bigger islands. It is one of the smaller islands, but there is an Aether Current here somewhere. So before it throws me off in a different direction, let's grab it. Right behind the tree? No. Over there. I assume we have a full complement on this map. Yep. Next one's way out the way. This fellow has been the talk of the Bureau. The combination of a carefree aspect and an endless row of fangs is strangely charming. Or endless rows of fangs. I have one of them. I doubt they would acknowledge if I summoned it and mounted it. Was there a guiding theme, or is any method to madness that is this random assortment of features? It's adorable, but beware its sneeze. Hermes went flying once.
Amazing, is it not? The Ampelos, one of our newest subjects. So, how are we coming along?
The flowers!
This place is Elpis. Those flowers. Elpis. Entelechies. Like me.
So that's what they're referring to as effectively. It's weird. That's actually a good point. Her ability isn't strictly speaking an empath or a telepath. It's a mix of the two.
They are a product of Elpis, and so named for their birthplace. A happy accident, born of the hands of a former researcher who loved beautiful blossoms. Unique for how they change color, to reflect the emotional state of those nearby. Though be it here or elsewhere, they are seldom seen in any hue save purest white.
Reflect the emotional state, you say? By what means do they achieve this?
In creation, there exists an energy wholly apart from ether, one driven by emotions.
Nidala would be ecstatic to have her theory confirmed. Although it probably isn't going to have the same name, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't. What's it? Atasha?
In like manner to how we manipulate ether, this flower is subject to the influence of said energy. While it has no will of its own, it is sensitive to the prevailing emotion in the vicinity, and reacts by altering its color and vibrancy.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feeling.
Akasha. Though I'm not familiar with the term, your description suggests it is the self-same energy. Dynamis, we call it. And those entities like the Elpis flower that have the ability to interact with this energy, converting emotions into tangible phenomena, are Entelechies.
That's me! That's me! An Entelechi!
That you are, my dear. And no ordinary one at that, but the first possessed of free will.
Wait. A form of energy other than ether? Dynamis? I've never heard of such a thing.
Hardly surprising. Dynamis cannot be seen, much less felt. And though its existence has long been theorized, we had no proof until the flower's serendipitous creation. What's more, Dynamis is far weaker than ether. Under normal circumstances, its effects are drowned out by the latter. On account of which, beings comprised of and reliant upon the ether, like you and I, are unable to make practical use of Dynamis. 'Tis a truly esoteric thing, known to but a select few scholars.
Intriguing. Then, given the limitations you described, why create Netion?
Our star, Ep30, is especially rich in ether, so much so that its name is derived from it. However, when we consider all energy in existence here and in the vast space beyond, Dynamis may account for as much as 68.3%. The more abundant form by far. Were we able to control it, we could open the door to limitless possibilities. 'Tis not unlike a gently flowing stream, unable to break through the dam of ether barring its path. But if we could imbue the stream with the vigor of a raging river... Not that I have such grand ambitions. Nay. I merely wish to create a being that could traverse the great expanse. The relative scarcity of ether beyond the bounds of this star was a concern. And so, I looked to another source of energy by necessity.
That being Dynamis. No wonder her ether is so thin.
Precisely.
Yours is thin too. Like an Entelechi. Like me.
Mine's thin for a slightly different reason, or at least that's what we've been led to believe.
So... are we the same? Entelechies.
Sure, I don't see why I couldn't be one. Well, I have been known to transcend my limits with nothing more but determination. This is actually true. If I'm thin, it's because Emet-Selch didn't do a proper job. We'll go with the second one because it's the truth.
That sounds more akin to the desperate flailings of a wild beast when facing imminent death.
A deficit of ether alone does not an Entelechi make. It would, however, make it easier for you to interact with Dynamis. And limited though its influence may be, this quality could prove the difference between victory and defeat. You'd do well not to underestimate it. Oh dear. I'd forgotten about the poor fellow. You must excuse me a moment while I go and verify a few more things.
Intriguing. Very intriguing. But that makes me think. If theoretically Dynamis is more plentiful than ether, then what would happen if somebody created something that could manipulate Dynamis but required ether to feed? My thinking is, if he managed to create Metreon, could someone theoretically create something similar that is powered by Dynamis, and much in the way antimatter works versus matter, that is overwriting ether because it's become more plentiful? Basically, are we dealing, is the final days being caused by an actual creation of some description? Never before have I heard of Dynamis or Entelechies. I can only assume the Elpis flower was submitted to the Bureau before I joined. Emet-Selch appears to be deep in thought. Not that I or anyone else would be able to make use of it, even if we knew. But it irks me to discover there is an entirely different form of energy, and no one told me. My personal annoyance aside, Hermes' knowledge is undeniable, or undeniably impressive. Given that there are none among the 14 who specialise in Celestial, he would be a welcome addition. Assuming he can be persuaded to join, that is. I still can't understand his hesitation. Why did you join the convocation? Oh, you wish to know why Emet-Selch was chosen for the convocation? I should be glad to share the tale. It begins when... No, or not another word. Least you've forgotten, we're to learn about Hermes, not me. My misspent youth is not your concern. I'll tell you the tale when we're away from sensitive ears. Thank you. Appreciate it. What now? I want to learn about the convocation. If you would accompany us, I suppose you should at least know that much. The Convocation 14 is a governing body that determines myriad policies. Our goal is to ensure that all is right in creation, and that our star may know a brighter future. As the name suggests, the Council is comprised of 14 offices, each which is held by an individual chosen for their surpassing abilities. Depending on the office, one is required to either be an authority in a certain field or possess skills which would facilitate the performance of their stipulated duties. The former category includes Mitron, specialist in aquatic life, Logrif, specialist in terrestrial life and husbandry, Halmarut, specialist in fungi and plant life, Emerotholus, specialist in medicine and healing, Lahabrea, specialist in creation magics, who has brought forth phantom beings of the highest complexity. As for the latter category, there is Altima, advocate of the arts, Iguruma, champion of enlightenment and rhetoric, Pashtarot, preserver of discipline and order, Emet-Selch, keeper of the ethereal realm, or underworld in the vernacular, Van Daniel, pursuer of extent phenomenon, and Azim, traveller of the world and counsellor to the people. What? Should I be revealing such details to you? Don't be silly. Every child knows this much, and you would do well to remember it all. So yeah, we already knew Azim was basically a traveller. At least we knew if you read the Shadowbringers Tales From series. Entelechies or no, we're friends in Dynamis. My apologies for the wait. I've inspected the Ampelot to my satisfaction. All is well with the creature, and I dare say it won't be long ere its release into the world. Another creation, however, reportedly isn't faring so well. The Hythlodaeus. Is that gonna be... God damn it, why can't I think of the name of it? Because Bahamut comes in the way. Behemoth. That's what we shall tend to next. If you would follow me, my friends, we shall return to the main island and head north. we still don't have any extra Aetherite quests. But we shall see you at our next destination. Oh, it's these things. Troubled observer. Oh, forgive me. I thought another member of the convocation had come. This is turning out to be an eventful day. Why is this one blue and shiny? A serpentine bird. Or a winged snake? I believe we refer to these as winged snakes. There is a slight difference in etheric balance between these and Charybdis. By this, we may assume that they aren't the original creation, but their offspring. I understand there's a problem with one of the Charybdis. Yes, that's right. As you know, the Charybdis is based on a sea creature, owing to adjustments to enhance its affinity to wind. It is capable of flight. The specimen created from the concept could always fly without issue, but a problem arose in subsequent generations. This third generation creature was born with an etheric balance leaning strongly towards water. Its aquatic origin reasserting itself, it would seem. The result being the affinity to wind is diminished, and it cannot fly. No matter what we try, we can't get it to rise even the slightest. For such a change to manifest in so few generations, I fear they are too unstable, flawed. With your permission, I will revert the creatures and recommend the Bureau that the concept be revised. With its etheric balance leaning towards water, the Charybdis would indeed struggle to manipulate the wind. Yet it is too early to conclude that it cannot fly. Having failed at first, it may simply have to have developed a fear. I shall transform and fly with it, helping it to manipulate wind until it finds its wings. What? You needn't go to such lengths? You don't know? Well, of course not. Transformation is an art which one manipulates the vast quantity of ether to construct another body around oneself. In practice, this allows one to assume any conceivable form, and thereby transcend the limits of one's flesh. Yet, convenient though it may be, transforming in the presence of others is considered vainglorious in the extreme. As uncouth and unseemly as running about ropeless, shameful. Am I to understand you make a habit of this? Nothing of the sort. It's just that, when transformed, I can wield the wind and fly. It may seem excessive, but what is our shame next to the lives of these creatures? They deserve a chance, and we owe it to them. We owe them to do all in our power. Be that as it may. Yes, I believe I have a solution. Emet-Selch, may I trouble you to move that Charybdis away from its fellows? Somewhere out of sight. Meanwhile, I'd like to ask the rest of you to help me prepare here. What mischief are you scheming now? No mischief, I assure you. I would but spare you the need to report to your colleagues that Hermes committed an indiscretion. So have a little faith and run along. I trust you don't mind? So what is he planning? Such bother when we could simply begin anew, but I shall defer to the Chief Overseer. We must help the Charbois to fly, or else they will all die. Hythlodaeus is a man of ideas. I wonder what he has thought up this time. Emet-Selch is out of sight? Good. Let's speak of the plan. How the hell did my Amazon-branded personal assistant get her name from that sentence? It's a stroke of genius, really. We'll have Emet-Selch train the Charbois. Aside from being able to fly untransformed, he can readily see ether currents. And with his adept spellcraft, he can also employ suitable wind magics to guide the creature along. While he is indeed capable of all you described, it is not his duty, and I am loath to trouble him with it. Don't be. As I mentioned, it would also be for his own sake. With that settled, let's begin at once. Nathan, I want you to go to Emet-Selch. Tell him that you have a favour to ask. He will be disinclined to cooperate at first, but you mustn't be discouraged. With our friend, the trick is to be unflaggingly persistent. Off you go now, and good luck. With the chat mode, say using your keyboard software, or using the keyboard or your software keyboard, to enter the phrase containing enter any phrase containing the word "I have a favour to ask," to indicate to Emet-Selch you have a request. By the sounds of it, it doesn't matter what else is in the request, just so long as it has "I have a favour to ask." /s, I have a favour to ask. Helps if you spell things right. Okay. There is one relatively nearby, but I don't think it's near enough by. I have a favour to ask. Oh no you don't, I'm not lifting a finger. I don't know what Hythlodaeus is up to, and I will not be made to know. I refuse. If Hythlodaeus is to be believed, a relentless insistence may serve to wear down ever-wary Emet-Selch. With chat mode, say please, Emet-Selch.
No, no, no. You are not foisting this nonsense on me.
I'm given to understand you have the power to help the Charybdis, and should be quite willing to do so. And so I appeal to your better nature, most benevolent Emet-Selch. Please teach her to fly.
Or else Hermes will transform. Right now.
Now, there's no need to go quite that far. Altruism is its own reward, as I'm sure he would agree.
Oh, would he now? And who contrived to put me in this position, pray tell?
Nothing so devious. I merely suggested a possible course of action.
Emet-Selch. Please!
I did not come all this way to play nursemaid to your creations. I'd thank you to remember this favor and let it be the last. I will aid it once it has taken to the air. It falls to you to shepherd it skyward.
Well, let's relax and enjoy the spectacle, shall we?
From what we know of Azim, him and Hythlodaeus must drive Emet-Selch up the wall.
You were wondering why Emet-Selch joined the convocation. Truth be told, he wasn't the first choice for the office. I was, on the strength of my ability to see ether. But I declined the offer. For though my vision is exceptional, I am pedestrian in all other aspects. Worse even. Quite abysmal when it comes to manipulating ether, for example. Couldn't transform even if I had a mind to do so. What good is the ability to perceive a problem if one cannot act to address it? Emet-Selch has no such shortcomings. He excels in vision and manipulation both, the latter to an extraordinary degree. If there is a mage more powerful, I do not know of them. Thus did I recommend him for the office in my stead. And I wasn't the only one. Far from it. Countless others vouched for his skill and character. People the world over, to whom he had previously lent a helping hand. Oh, how surprised he was. Claimed he hadn't done anything remarkable for anyone. Modest to a fault. He deserved every bit of acclaim he received. Yet he may well have gone unappreciated were it not for a mutual friend. A singular soul who can't help but involve himself in the business of others. Where he walks, excitement is certain to follow. His antics irritate Emet-Selch to no end. But much of his grumbling stems from genuine concern. When our friend calls, he never fails to answer and lend his talents. And in the course of doing so, he himself came to be recognized and respected by those around him. They are truly remarkable individuals, and I'm proud to call them friends. To help them realize their dreams. This will be my greatest contribution to our world. And when they have fulfilled their respective purposes, so too shall I have fulfilled mine, and together we may return to the star. Look at me, spilling my innermost secrets. I can't seem to help it with you.
That's because I very much remind you of a dear friend.
I can only assume it is due to the color of your soul. I just don't understand how you can be so alike and yet so different.
Well done, my pet.
It looked like we were about to tell him.
Ah yes, I dare say the Charybdis will be fine here on. Why don't you go and signal to Emet-Selch? Let him know that his arduous task is at an end.
Humble wind. Wave at Emet-Selch from a specific location. Emerging from his reverie, Emet-Selch notices you and begins to descend with the Hythlodaeus. I have no words to express my gratitude. Thanks to you, the Hythlodaeus has learned to fly. And Nathan and I could relax and have a pleasant chat. I'm sure you did. The creature needs some small assistance at first, but soon it was flying, more or less on its own. I doubt you'll need to repeat the lesson. That was truly impressive. I witnessed it all from afar. The Hythlodaeus flies. Indeed, with this we've proven that even a creature with a skewed etheric balance is capable of flight. Though we helped it to achieve this, the Hythlodaeus is a herd animal, and they may well aid their struggling kin in a fashion if and when the need arises. Keeping this in mind, I bid you continue observing them. If that is what you want. But if I may say so, rather than hoping an idyllic possibility comes to pass, would it not be simpler to have the concept adjusted? That way we could guarantee that anomalies such as this specimen are never born in the first place. These creatures are already here. We spare no effort in giving them a chance to survive. As you wish, Chief. As you wish. Hermes? Don't worry, I'm fine, don't worry. I imagine that's why he's reluctant to leave. He's reluctant to leave in case someone like the other guy ends up in charge. And basically says, no, this isn't perfect, just send it back to the drawing board, destroy them all, give us new samples. Rather than giving things a chance to exist. Well, that concludes all of my present tasks. Let us return to the Agnosis for now. How far away is this? Okay, we'll grab that. I don't think it's that far away. I think it's just going to be up here. By the looks of it, we'll be coming up here later anyway. So it's behind the rock. It's not behind the rock. Oh, you buggers. If only this compass could point skyward. I had this issue with the Tempest as well, where you could literally get within 5 yards of an ether current that was like 50 yards below you. And we have arrived. All the creations are happy. That makes me happy too. Now you've seen what I do. Was it everything you was expecting? I thoroughly enjoyed myself. At the end, most of all. What? Want to apologise for forcing me to help, do you? Save your breath. You didn't force me to do anything. I merely chose the most expeditious way to have done I merely chose the most expeditious way to have done with an impediment to our business. Alrighty then. We shall call it there for an episode. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show, and hopefully I will see you next time. Cheerio.